What's up, my dudes? Finally, boys, we got Motocross Chasing the Dream. You know, that LCQ Studios dirt bike game that we heard about, feels like it was like a decade ago. Finally! I know a lot of us were probably questioning whether or not this game was ever going to be released in any kind of way. I know the developers were like going to college for a minute, and then, the development of it had to kind of get put on the back burner. There is a little bit of history, back history to this game right here, but this is a early access, and let me tell you, it is early access, bro. Early access, bro. You see this track I'm on? You see this free ride track? It's the only track in the game. You see this bike and this gear that I have right here? It's the only bike and the only gear in the game. So yes, it is very, very early access. It's $15 on Steam. So, we're going to judge it accordingly. I know there's some bigger motocross YouTubers out there that'll say things like, well, you got to support the milestone games, bro, because that's the only way you're going to get more dirt bike games, no matter how bad they are, no matter how repetitive, copy and paste the milestone games are. You better buy all of them just to support, motocross gaming. And I don't really subscribe to that model. For AAA $60 full price dirt bike games, if I don't find them to be worth $60, I don't feel like you should just be buying those games over and over and over just to, support motocross games in general necessarily. You know what I'm saying? But for these other kind of dirt bike gaming developers, right? Your games out there like MX Simulator, MX Bikes, this game right here. These are the kind of dirt bike games that I feel like you should buy and support just because. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a AAA development team. They don't have all those kind of resources. They don't... You know what I'm saying? And they're still trying to make a good dirt bike gaming product at the end of the day. And so I feel like it's more important to support the MX Sims and the MX Bikes and the more indie style dirt bike games than the AAA $60 copy and paste milestone shit, right? Yeah, I know the original plan for this game was supposed to be some sort of a arcade simulator hybrid. I'm pretty sure that was the original goal. I'm not exactly sure what their plans are for it now. Obviously, it's still, it's about as early as you can get the stages and actually release a dirt bike game that's not like a mobile dirt bike game. This is about as close as you're going to get to a mobile style dirt bike game on Steam. You know what I mean? It's very similar to that. Doesn't mean the game's not fun, because I actually had a little bit of fun with it, and it's got to be all things considered. The game was $15. They're going to be working on it a lot more. They already have the little option on the main menu for customization, so you should be able to go in there and change bikes and yada yada yada, gear, all that good jazz. I'm sure that, and more tracks, obviously raceable. I don't think there's any of that. The game kind of just starts you off on this free ride track and you can just ride around it, but there's not really lap times, there's not multiple tracks, there's not racing multiplayer. It is bare bones from what I've been able to see so far, unless I'm just missing something. Very bare bones. But yeah, like I say, I can't really tell what their overall goal is, as far as if they're trying to make a arcade sim hybrid or like a realistic sim. I know originally they were kind of trying to do this thing where it was like you were going to start on a smaller bike and go to like a Loretta Lynn style, work your way up from a 50cc bike, or like work your, motocross chasing the dream, right? So it's like work your way up through all the amateur small bike, big bike, pretty much all that, like amateur pro class going into the pro class kind of thing. I don't know. That was their original goal, so we'll see what all ends up happening with that, I don't really know. I'm sure at this point they're just worried about focusing on getting the gameplay better and the bugs fixed and things like that. There are some little tricks to the physics if you haven't kind of learned them yet. I pretty much learned them the first day playing the game. Little shifting tricks, little things you can do. There is no bike setup, so it's not like you can go in there and, let me get a little more acceleration out of the bike by changing the gearing. You can't really do anything like that. You can't, stiffen up your suspension so you can jump further. There's none of that. So everybody's kind of on an even playing field here. Not sure how quickly they're going to update this game. They do have a motocross style track and a little supercrossy, more like arena cross style track on this standard woodland sort of starting area, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like these are the kind of people that you shouldn't judge their game as harshly. You should give them more credit. Even though it may not stack up, to some milestone game or whatever, the price is totally different. The experience of the developers is totally different. Even though it may seem like I just hate on things that that aren't perfect or some shit all the time, I really do take all these things into account. That's why I've been the way I've been with Milestone over the past, because they've made so many games. They have the experience now. There's no excuse for some of the things that they do, right? But for Motocross Chasing the Dream, LCQ Studios, I mean, it's you can't really expect anything, You can't expect it to be... I mean, I know they've kind of talked about the game, and they've talked about loose ideas on what they want to do with the game or whatever, but yeah, it's interesting. You can kind of get the bike whipped over. You can get on the gas, kind of get the momentum built up. It's got this little trail style thing on the free ride track. You can kind of jump over some rocks and shit. But so it's got a little bit of everything, even though it doesn't have a lot. It's got a little trail track, got a motocross track, got a little arena cross track, got a little bit of free riding action going on. It's got leaning forward, backwards, left, right, turning, steering. As far as the controls and the movement and the all that kind of stuff, it pretty much has all the things that you expect in a modern day style dirt bike game. It's just very basic. Everything is still very early stages, basic. Those physics definitely seem like, they're in their early animation stages for the physics animations, and it's a fun little game to mess around on for a minute, but, it's all in what they do in the future with it, really. But in its current state, I mean, it's more of just a hop on here and goof around, really, style of dirt bike game. It's got kind of that, more unrealistic-y style air physics where it doesn't really feel like you're actually jumping and landing. It's quite a bit more arcadey in that sense. It has an interesting graphical touch to it, not super realistic. Kind of got almost a little bit of a cartoony graphical vibe, which is interesting. Like I say, I have no idea what all else they're going to put into the game, but it's pretty bare bones right now. Gonna have to just focus on the main things, like more tracks, more actual racing, things of that nature, and then customization be the big things. But it's cool to at least still see the whip system. I mean, this has got more of a whip system than probably 69% of those different Milestone games. So just consider that one, you know what I mean? Like I say, it's like the best kind of whip system you've ever imagined for a mobile dirt bike game. That's what this is. It's like the best kind of whip system, the sort of air physics feel of a mobile dirt bike game, but still got the full controller leaning, turning. It's kind of a combo of those two different things, like a mobile motocross world put into a full-blown PC style environment with the controller. Basically, that's what it is right now. So, we'll see if LCQ Studios, what all they can do with it. But yeah, other than that, that's about it for this video. This game is not going to blow away everybody, you know what I'm saying? But it's not really meant to do that. Again, $15 game made by some dudes. It's pretty sure they went to college in the middle of developing this, so may still be going to college. I have no idea. It's just kind of you hear things about these different studios and shit, but nonetheless, like I said, it's a playable dirt bike game. You can get on here, mess around, jump around, hit whoops, ride wheelies, land it. It's got that land in a wheelie, or try to do the fun little arcadey style movements to get the bike to do crazy shit. It does have that sort of feeling to it. So, believe it or not, this is not even as boring as some of those Milestone games where they just restricted everything and you could barely move. I feel like this is better than that. It's better than a lot of those different Milestone games in that particular sense. It's just, it's still going to need a lot of work, though. You know what I'm saying? It's not to get that twisted either. So, but anyways, that's pretty much the review on the original release early access version of this game. So yeah, man, either way, that's about it for this one, bro. See you boys on that next one. Later, dudes.